Hello, my dear students. Welcome to this short video which will be devoted to exams and tests. I know that you are all busy taking exams. I do wish you good luck, and I know that I can rely on you. Actually, I thought that in addition to your revision, your regular revision, your everyday revision, in addition to your continuous efforts to do well in the exam, you may need some tips. You may need some tips, some pieces of advice, some hints that will facilitate your good performance during the test. I wanted to start with this quote. In times of test, those tips are best. I hope you'll find them the best tips you can get in all your life and in all your career. So, the question that we will try to answer is the following. How to cope with a test? Interesting question, isn't it? How to cope with a test? Now he's happy. Come on, he's happy. Because I'm sure he can cope well with the test, and you will also be able to cope well with the test on condition that you take into account and into consideration those tips. First question to answer is, what are the parts that make up a test? I know my question is easy. It's not just easy, it's evident. There are basically three parts. There's what we call reading comprehension. It's out of 12 if you are a science student, and out of 15 if you are an art student. There's language. It's out of 6 if you are a science student. It's out of 10 if you are an art student. And there's writing, which is out of 12 if you are a science student, and it's out of 15 if you are an arts one. These are the three parts. In the name of God, we begin speaking about the first rubric, which is reading comprehension. I consider reading comprehension extremely important. Let me whisper in your ears. It's the part you can gain the highest mark ever. An average student or a quite good student can get 10 out of 12 or 12 out of 15 easily by making as little effort as possible. Ask me how. Hello? Ask me how. Okay, I'm asking myself how. How to get the highest mark. Okay, we all know that question number 1 is a general question. It can take the form of multiple choice. So the text is about A or B or C. So you read carefully the text. After reading the questions, I suggest that you read the questions first, so that when you are reading the text, you know which areas in the text you'll be focusing on. And then you decide whether it is about A or B or C. This will give you 1 mark. There's one more question, which is correcting false statements. Correcting false statements is an important question, but it's equally easy, because usually you are given a number of false statements, maybe 3 or 4. All that you have to do is pick out the sentence or the detail in the text that shows that those statements are false. Do not use your own words. Do not use your own words. Do not use your own words, please. And of course, choose the part that you think is most relevant. That's how you can gain a mark for each detail you give. Usually you are told about the paragraph number in which the detail lies. So this makes your job even easier. Good. There's of course multiple choice question, choosing adjectives that describe best the character or some of the characters of the text. Again, you need to read the text again and again to find which adjectives to choose. There's also a reference question. Reference question can have to do with a pronoun. What does, for example, they refer to? So you say they refers to this and that. You cannot decide until you read carefully what comes before this they or what comes after. Sometimes it refers to something mentioned earlier, or it refers to something that will be mentioned later. So please read carefully and give an exact reference answer. Now the last question is always a personal one. It's called a reaction question. You react to the text by giving your attitude or your opinion about one of the aspects of the text. Of course, you have to use your own words. You have to use your own words. And there's no harm. Do not be afraid of making mistakes. There's no harm in making minor, of course, small or minor spelling or language mistakes. It doesn't matter at all. Even if you make a few mistakes, the teacher will turn a blind eye to them, because you get either 1 out of 1 or 0 out of 1. I'm sure that you will all get 1 out of 1. The second part is the language. And the language part can be divided into 2 parts or 3 parts, depending on whether you are a science or a math or an art student. In any case, there's gap filling. You fill in the blanks, and of course when you fill in the blanks you have to beware of the extra words. There's put in the right form or tense, and there's the multiple choice question, what we call in French QCM. These 3 questions require or need more or less the same strategies. What is it? Usually you have one word in brackets, for example in the case of right form or tense, and you have to decide which form you need. The form that you need can be a noun, can be an adjective, can be an adverb. Sometimes it's a pronoun, a reflexive pronoun, myself, himself, can be a possessive adjective, their, my, etc. The mistake that students make here is that they focus on the word. Of course, it's good to focus on the word, but my advice to you is to focus on what comes before the word and what comes after. Because it's what comes before and what comes after that will dictate the tense that you have to use and the form that you have to use. For example, if you need an adjective, it should be followed by a noun. If you need an adverb, it must refer to a verb. It can also refer to an adjective. So the adverb describes the adjective or the verb, and the adjective describes the noun. And the noun itself is followed by a verb. So it's what comes after or what comes before that can help you. It's the case with the 3 questions. Same for the gap filling. In order to decide which word to put in the gap, you have to check what comes before and what comes after. Good. And of course, the last part is the writing. You know that the writing is divided into 2 parts. The first one is guided writing. It takes many forms, but the most common one is a table. You are given a table with lots of details. Those details can be about a person. We call this a biography. Can be about an event, for example, a festival. And can be about an organization, for example, UNICEF or any other organization. So what you are asked to do is use the information you have in the table to produce a short paragraph that shouldn't be longer than 4 to 5 lines at most. And of course you can combine information or pieces of information into one sentence whenever possible. You combine those parts, you combine the parts, and you use the right linkers. Do not forget, of course, correct grammar, spelling, and punctuation. Good. That's how you can guarantee an excellent mark in the first task of the writing. The last task of the writing is, of course, production. And here you have to answer the following question. What am I going to write? Who am I writing it to? And what for? Why am I writing it? And especially how. So it can be an article in the newspaper stating advantages and disadvantages, for example. Don't forget to give a title to your writing. It can be a letter. If it is a letter, you have to decide whether it is formal or informal. In any case, whether it is an article, whether it is a letter, whether it is formal or informal or whatever, usually writings should, production should consist of 3 parts. Introduction, in which you give the topic, so you announce the topic in your own way. The second part, which will give you all the details. It can be divided into 2 parts if you have advantages and disadvantages. And of course, conclusion, in which you state or you restate, you mention again, you restate your or the main topic. You restate the main topic. That's how things go. These are the ways you deal with different types of writing topics or issues. Of course, pay attention to organization, coherence, and avoid making any kind of mistakes related to punctuation, capitalization, and spelling. My prayers will follow you wherever you are, and my best wishes of success will also keep chasing you and pursuing you. My heart is praying for you. I love you so much. Good luck. Bye-bye. Good luck, my dear students. See you on other occasions. Love you so much.